Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Who Even Are You? This show is about just getting to know regular people and especially learning what their aspirations are and what their hobbies and interests are. I hope you enjoyed this first episode. It was with Damian Swiney. I had a lot of fun recording it, so I hope that you enjoy listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it. I also have to apologize for the bad audio on my end. I still do not know how to use a microphone correctly. I'm still learning. But I hope that you can forgive me for that because Damien speaks 90% of the time and the 10% of the time that I'm speaking where there's the terrible audio. Yeah. I hope you can look past that. But anyways, on with the show. So I'm here today. Wait, is the camera recording? I hope it's recording. Yeah. Okay. That would have been a great mistake. I'm here today with Damian Swiney. Why don't you give me your name? Well, I already have said your name.
Yeah, I'm Damian Swiney. I saw this on his story and I thought it was funny. So I'm really excited.
So yeah, if you were to create a profile on a dating app, what would it say?
Ooh, okay. Well, I guess to start, easy pick would be like hobbies. Yeah. So going to the gym.
Yeah.
Going to the gym, cooking, and probably playing music and playing video games. Probably about one and the same. Mm-hmm. Tried not to make it super nerdy, so that way they don't instantly swipe left.
Yeah. What do you like to cook?
I have nothing specific. I just like cooking. Yeah. It's just fun to cook something. I really enjoy winging recipes. As I say, I let my ancestors guide my hand whenever I need spices. I just put my hand in the spice drawer, the spice rack, and I'm like, all right, which one do we need?
Yeah.
But I'll pick based on what I'm trying to cook. So if it's more Asian style or like Cajun, Italian, but I don't really measure anything. And it sucks when someone asks me if they could have the recipe and I just tell them I winged it.
That's really impressive though, because like whenever I try to like wing a recipe, never works. That's really impressive that you can pull it off.
The trick with like the spices is you always want to taste as you're cooking. Mm-hmm. And then also if you like have a group of spices that you want to use but don't know if they're going to be good together, if you like open every single one and then smell them all at once and it smells good together, it'll most likely work together.
Oh, interesting.
That's something I saw and I've tried it and it works really well.
Okay. So, where did you grow up and what was it like growing up there?
So I've been in Ohio all 17, moving on 18 years. Mm-hmm. For the probably beginning of my life, I always thought I was from Vegas because that's where my mom got pregnant with me, so I thought I was born in Vegas, moved here. No, I've been here all my life. And it's weird growing up here because it's just a lot of white people.
Yeah.
So especially, I grew up over in Northridge, so it's like old white people central. And growing up there, being one of like maybe the few ethnic kids, even fewer black kids at the school. Definitely a little struggle, but nothing too bad. Nothing like book worthy.
Yeah. What would you say that your ethnicity means to you? What significance does it have?
So, I'd have to say growth because when I was growing up, I will admit that I tried to pander to all the other white kids around me. So, like, they all wanted to have that black friend, definitely. So I tried to kind of be that for them so I could have friends. But now it's like I take pride in being black, being Hispanic, and learning about my ethnicity and trying to advocate for it. So I've started to get more into movement groups for my different ethnicities. Started trying to essentially fight racism, and help my community.
Yeah, and this is a question that I was originally going to ask you like way later down this, but since we're on this topic, I might as well ask you this now. if you could change society in any way, how would you change it?
So my view on society is I don't think even if we do change something. So say I just say everyone's equal, right? The way I see it is sometime down the line with human evolution, we're gonna start getting jealous again, and that's when bigotry is gonna. I don't feel like bigotry is ever gonna go away completely, but if I could change anything, I feel like. Removing the years of racism, like early slavery, I think if just getting rid of slavery, obviously wasn't going to solve racism, but if it wasn't a sense of we are looked down upon because we were slaves and more of just looked down upon, I think it'd be a little bit better, if that makes sense.
I can see that.
Like, a lot of racism stems from the fact that we were slaves. And so, like, we were forced to work in harsh conditions for barely anything or just nothing at all. So I think instead of having it like that and just having that segregation of just because you look different, so I don't trust you, and not have that whole slavery part, I think we could make a lot more strides towards equality faster.
Without like that legacy.
Right, exactly.
That was definitely very insightful. So I guess what would you say that your childhood was like?
Really weird. So I grew up with just my mom. It's not that I don't have a relationship with my dad. I love my dad, but I love my parents, but they were not good together. I've said that to them. Actually, recently I was making a joke. There's a trend on TikTok where it's dance to get back with your baby mama, baby dad. And I went to both of them and said, I know you two would dance. Because as much as I loved them, they were not really good together. I can remember a lot of screaming fights. They were never physical. It was always just screaming fights. And it was always revolving around me. So that definitely built that, like, negative image of, well, am I the issue? Like, am I the reason? But it's really, like, super deep rooted. So,
yeah.
But I grew up with just my mom. Went to Northridge, predominantly white school. So I think I could count the black kids on maybe one hand, both hands. If I really wanted to. Like, if I started adding other ethnicities, I can get both hands. But there was a lot of white kids, and growing up, there was a lot of mild racism, I want to say. I never picked up on it until, like, the only one I ever picked up on is my birthday falls on 9/11. So being a brown kid with a birthday on 9/11, you're going to succumb to terrorist jokes, and I do remember that happening to me when I was, like, I think first, second grade.
Wow.
Also, every 9/11, whenever they would play the video, I would end up crying because, like, this is my birthday. Why this happened on my birthday?
Yeah.
And it's just the towers falling and everyone, like, in panic and mourning their loved ones, and it's like, man, I'm gonna go home and eat some cake after this. That sucks.
Yeah. So like when you did go home and eat the cake, was that in your mind, or did you try to?
I just, like, tried to. It really was only at school when I was watching the video. I was like, man, this sucks. But then, like, going home, realizing, like, because I knew early on that this happened way before I was even born or considered to, like, way before my parents thought about having me.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew it wasn't my fault, but also it was kind of hard for a little kid to get that out of his mind. It was definitely very difficult. But, I think other than that, it was just mild racism here and there. The, like, weird looks that you're gonna get for being one of the only black kids in a white school. Jokes about being good at basketball or being bad at swimming, stereotypes, all that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it wasn't abnormal. It was definitely it was pretty normal. Other than jabs here and there.
Yeah. So who besides your parents would you say were the most influential in shaping who you are today?
It's gonna be weird to say this, but honestly, like YouTubers. So not having dad definitely like, and then also my mom never really started dating until I think I was in 6th, 7th grade is when she started dating again. So for a while, the only male figures in my life were like my uncle, my cousin, and then I would just watch YouTubers, and I think they definitely helped shape who I am. Both in like, they helped me find my humor and like find myself, be able to make friends easier because of because of watching them, being able to connect with other people.
Yeah, who are also watching them. Yeah. I can definitely concur with that. Like, my dad, like, he was, like, in the picture, but, like, kind of, like, physically there, not mentally not there.
Yeah.
And so I also, like, would say, like, YouTubers were very influential in, like, shaping, like, who I am and, like, what my aspirations are.
Right.
As well.
Like, what I want to do with my life, how I want to act with other people. It's like, definitely YouTubers. And then also, in 7th, I want to say my buddy, a friend named Makai, I want to say he definitely helped just because he was one of my first, like, true black friends. Because I've had black friends here and there, but I've never had, like, a really good black friend until him. He kind of helped me realize, like, I should be proud to be black. I shouldn't try to pander to white people. And so I say definitely him as well.
Okay. So you're quite the gym rat. I see all these posts on your Instagram, all these stories. What got you into that?
So I want to say it was, so I've always been surrounded by the gym. Just exercise in general. My aunt has an entire section of medals for 5Ks, marathons, 10Ks, whatever runs. My cousin, who was like essentially it's just my big brother, would play football, so I always remember going to his football games. And then my mom is the main reason. She works out, she powerlifts. She actually held the Ohio State women's squat record for a year. I want to say a year about. Back in 2015, 2014, somewhere around there. So I've always been surrounded by it. And it just started one summer wanting to get into shape, because while I was tall, I was still also like, I had like stomach fat that I hated, and I also didn't like being weak and all that.
Yeah.
So it just started with working out at home, and then I want to honestly say TikTok is the reason, like, because 2020 is when the huge surge in like the influences who was this old Australian fitness influencer who was like all about being yourself and not caring about what other people think, but he was like super fit, and everyone was like starting to go to the gym because of him. And I think honestly I was one of those people. I definitely, so him, and then just wanting to get into shape because of I did not like who I was and how I was.
Do you think that social media is a net positive on society, or do you think it's a net negative on society?
It's actually really funny. I was taking a critical thinking class this semester, and we asked the same question. I believe I said we talked about the internet, but I want to say honestly net negative, because while it is you are able to connect to like family members and friends that you can't see every day, I feel like it's more used to try to push this false livelihood that a lot of people live or want to live. So, and then it doesn't help that a lot of people on social media, if they're not young adults, they're kids.
Yeah.
So having these kids see this 20-something-year-old talking about his 3 McLarens and his multiple watches and his $1 million house, when in reality, he's renting those cars. He rented that house, Airbnb, for the day.
Yeah.
All of his watches are someone else's. Or I just think that the social media, while it has some positives, I think it has more negatives.
Okay. Do you think that it's been positive in your life? Probably? Or
Honestly, I want to say it's been more of a... It's about neutral, honestly,
Okay.
because, like, I have friends who I can't go see. I have a friend in Colorado, a friend in Canada, a friend in Puerto Rico. So social media lets me talk to them and connect with them. But at the same time, like when I first started working out, social media was definitely a hindrance because I would see the physique of these dudes who have been training for 15 plus years and on multiple different steroids and like they're professional bodybuilders or powerlifters and like do this for a livelihood, and I would start feeling down about my own physique because like how can I can't compare to this 35-year-old dude who's been doing this since he's been 18 when I'm only 16 and been doing it for about a year. So it's definitely a neutral for me personally.
okay. And I guess you kind of touched on this a little bit. What motivates you to keep on working out? And also, I want to ask you what the community is like.
So community wise, I think it's pretty good. Like the stereotype that like everyone in a gym is like meathead, banging their head against the bar, like slamming weights for no reason, grunting. I think there are people like that. I'm someone like that. I do that. I won't lie. But that's not the norm. And also a lot of another stereotype is like everyone's judging you, especially if you're brand new. I have had people, so I fractured my foot back last summer, but I was still going to the gym because my motivation was, well, even if I can't do legs, I can still work my upper body. I had so many people like helping me up and down the stairs with my bag and my crutches. I had people like helping me to asking if I needed help getting up from a machine or something, to help if I needed help putting weights away. And then also I just had people encouraging me like, that's awesome, you're here when your leg's broken. I had a specific one. There's this guy there, I don't know his name, he's really cool though, telling me a story about how like when he ripped his thumb and like he couldn't use his hand, he just used a wrist strap to still be able to deadlift and stuff. And how he knows people that would call it quits for much less. So the gym is a very welcoming community as long as you're not an asshole. I think that's just like the main thing, is just don't be an asshole. No one cares when you're in the gym. That's another thing. I touched on it earlier. Like the stereotype that everyone's watching you is completely wrong. No one really cares unless you're going to do something that's going to hurt you. And then they will definitely help you. Like I've helped people who I've seen doing something wrong or could be doing something better. I have helped them. I've had other people come up to me and help me with a form or something like that. But people care about your safety in the gym. Like everyone cares about everyone else. But they don't care if you're doing it right. They're not going to care about you. If you're like very beginner and only being able to lift 5 pounds,
Yeah.
they're not going to like make fun of you.
That's beautiful. Hi, I hope that you're enjoying the show so far. And I just want to interrupt to plug my coffee page. If you don't know what coffee is, it's a platform where you can just give small donations to creators, and this money is going to help me, pay for my Adobe subscription, potentially help me get some more equipment to do some more sophisticated stuff. And yeah, so just wanted to plug that in the middle of the show. And let's get back to Damian. What do you do for fun besides workout?
Right now, it's I'll play video games with my friends, watch anime with my mom, or just myself, or I'll practice guitar.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And are you okay if I disclose where you work?
Yeah, sure.
So he works at a Pizza Hut, and so I'm going to ask him this question that I find really interesting to ask people who work in food, which is, do you ever get sick of pizza?
Oh my god, I hate it. I'm so sick of the pizza at this point. It's just pizza in general. I cannot eat pizza anyway. It sucks because I steal food from work too. We have employee meals, but the employee meals suck. It is either, if you're working 4 or more hours, you can get personal pan pizza, which is like a disc about that big. You can get breadsticks and cheese sticks, which are arguably the best option.
Yeah.
You can get a trip to the salad bar, which we don't have anymore. Or you can get a cookie or brownie. And those are huge. Like, large pan disc of a cookie or brownie. I don't want to eat that while I'm working. And so my only option is really breadstick or cheese steak. So I just make my own food and lie. Like, I will either get wings or I'll just get breadsticks and make them like super customized.
That's nice.
But I am so sick of pizza. And I'm sick of people's weird orders. That's another one.
Okay, talk about that.
Okay, so people have really weird orders. Like, I saw one which made no sense to me. So we have a pizza called the Super Supreme, which is our supreme pizza, but it adds Italian sausage, black olives, and Roma tomatoes on top of every other topping you get with. Someone asked for a Super Supreme pizza without the Italian sausage, without the olives, without every new ingredient you get on the Super Supreme. They asked it without that, so it was just a Supreme pizza.
Wow.
But they didn't want a Supreme. I've had another one. They're also like, you can ask for extra sauce, no sauce. We have 2 different types of sauces, and you can ask for square cut. I've seen a couple pizzas that are just no sauce.
Interesting.
So it's just the dough, and then we just have to put the cheese, and it's just bread.
Have you ever seen None Pizza Left Beef before?
I'm sorry, what?
None Pizza Left Beef?
No.
It's a medium Domino's pizza that has no cheese, no sauce, beef on the left side.
What? I have never seen that. I've never heard of that. I don't want to see it. That's terrible. I think the weirdest order I've seen was like, I want to say it was either no sauce or light sauce. And then it was onions, pineapple.
Okay, I can fuck with that.
I don't like onions, especially on pizza. I hate onions. Anytime there's onions on pizza. Actually, so whenever we do have pizza for like dinner, if we get it from work, I will be the one to order it. Or if I'm even working, I'll make it myself while I'm at work and have my mom pick it up because I get an employee discount. There was one time where I saw we had an order while I was making pizza, and I was like, this is my order, real quick. And I saw that my mom asked for onions, and I was like, no, that's wrong, because we hate onions. So I didn't put any onions on it. And then it gets through, and apparently my boss, when he was cutting the pizza, put onions on it at the very end, but he put like an entire handful, almost like half an onion's worth of onions on the pizza wherever it was supposed to be. And my mom was like, you guys use a lot of onions, huh? And I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't put any on. He was like, oh, well, like, we got a lot of onions. I had to pick it off. I'm like, oh, okay. That's cool. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah. So, you just graduated high school. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
What comes next?
Utah, Salt Lake City. Going to Newmont School of Computer Science for either software engineering or cybersecurity.
That's really cool. Are you excited for, when I think Utah, I think the soda shops that are there. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I thought you were going to say Mormons. That's what I think.
Well, the Mormons, they can't have caffeine. So instead, they get a lot of them go to shops where like it's like Starbucks but like for decaffeinated soda.
Huh. I don't think I saw that. I'm gonna have to look for that now.
Yeah. So what drew you there?
So I got the thing in the mail, like what every college sends you. It's like, you should apply here. And I don't know why, but I was like, I think it was because I was thinking about applying to colleges in general. Mm-hmm. So I had like that I should apply mentality on my brain.
Yeah.
So I applied online, I submitted all my stuff, and then I got accepted. Like I was on vacation and I got a call and I'm like, oh, let me take this real quick. Mm-hmm. Hello. And I got accepted. And it turns out that they mailed my like acceptance thing, and they were calling to make sure I got it. And I was like, I am on vacation. I did not know I got accepted. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? Let's just keep moving forward, because that was the only college I applied to. I did not apply anywhere else. I just applied there, got accepted. I got a scholarship there, and I was like, sure, let's just keep moving. My motivation is like, college is supposed to be a new experience. Why not get a double whammy, essentially? New place, new school.
Yeah.
Instead of just having a new school. Because like a lot of my friends are going to OU, OSU, somewhere in Ohio. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I feel like you should just explore it.
Yeah. I get that. I definitely get that. I remember for a time I was like, I gotta get out of Ohio.
Oh yeah, no, that's still my motivation, is to get out of Ohio.
Yeah. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you something. I still have more questions. So you said software engineering or cybersecurity.
Plus.
What got you into this?
So for cybersecurity, it was just because I was taking the College Credit Plus classes during high school. I heard about it just randomly one day, and I was like, oh, that's cool, let me take the classes, see what it's about. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. I like it. It doesn't do a lot with coding more. It's like a lot of applications. Mm-hmm. Or if it is coding, it's like Linux, OS system, and all that. Mm-hmm. And then software engineering, that comes from the YouTuber Michael Reeves.
Oh, I love him.
I love him and his robotics and his coding. That's the motivation to get into coding, which transferred to software engineering. Okay. Because software engineering deals with coding a lot.
Do you feel like you've been supported in accomplishing your dreams?
Yes, 100%. Mm-hmm. I've always been like a relatively good student, but recently I've only failed one class. But when I failed, I didn't get like as much trouble. I didn't get in trouble as much as I thought I would. Mm-hmm. Like my mom was able, like she told me off, obviously, for failing a class, because I hated the class. And it's a bad habit, but whenever I don't like something, I just don't try, because it's like, why would I put my effort into something that I don't like?
All right.
But she paid for the like 100-something credit fine, and then that was my like little wake up call. I was like, all right, let's sit down and let's get everything else done, so that way I don't have to do this again. Mm-hmm. But I think I've definitely been supported. Okay,
that's wonderful. If you could like describe your absolute dream life, like practicality out the window, money is a real
perfect
thing. Like what's that look like to you?
Okay, so first of all, homestead. I don't like the city life. I think like my dream house is honestly my aunt's house, because it's that perfect middle ground of, I have 5 neighbors at most that I know, I have a huge ass front and backyard. I have a creek in the back. I can shoot in my own house. I can shoot in my own home. I can let my dogs roam. I can go look at the animals. But then I'm also close enough to the city that I don't have to spend an hour to go get groceries. I was like, man, I am hungry for some fast food. I can go get some canes. A perfect middle ground of middle of nowhere, but close enough to society that I'm not like, I'm not secluded. Working from home, that's why I like computer science, because it is very, it's panded by the internet, but you are able to work from home with a lot of positions. Yeah. So working from home, and then also being able to finally build enough confidence and or just saying fuck it and starting a YouTube career and doing that just for fun, because that's always been like, every kid has the dream, but like that's been my dream, is to be able to start a YouTube channel. And like I don't want to work full time on YouTube, obviously. I want to be able to retire early. That's my dream. Like my real dream is to retire early. So using investments and all that to never have to work. And that's why I want to do YouTube, is so that I can just do it for fun.
Yeah.
Not have to worry about getting paid and worry about having to follow trends, so that way I can still make money. It's like, do what I want. That's the dream.
And those are the best YouTubers.
Right. It's like the ones where it's like, it's not about the money more. It's just like they're doing it for fun, and they can do whatever. They're going to do whatever they want. If there's some random obscure indie game that came out, but they tried it and it's really good, they're going to make a video about the random obscure indie game, and it's going to be one of the only videos.
Yeah. I think going back to what we said about like YouTubers being influential in our lives, something that I kind of like learned from like, I think I have a family member who's a psychiatrist, and what she said was like, people tend to like adopt the careers of their parents, and in a way, I guess like, I mean, I'm getting into YouTube.
Right.
One could argue that these YouTubers kind of did like have like a kind of like parental influence on me. I don't know.
I think that makes sense, especially depending on the YouTubers you watched. Like if you watched mainly like gaming YouTubers, I'm sure you'd want to trying to get into professional gaming. If you watched more like the YouTubers who are doing reviews of like comics and all that, probably want to get into like podcasting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on what you watched. But that's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever heard of that, so that's really cool.
Yeah. So realistically, where do you think that you'll be in 20 years with practicality in the picture?
Okay, practicality. I want to say 50-50 on still working. I am, when I say I want to retire early, that is something I'm working on like right now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Is because my father is retired early, and the way he did it is through like houses, like flipping houses and then renting them. Like that's how that bro does not work. So I was like, that's the dream right there. It's to wake up and be able to go back to sleep. But realistically, in 20 years, it's a 50-50 chance of still working. But hopefully I'll be in a position that I'm enjoying. So even if I am working, then I can have fun with it. Probably be renting. Definitely be renting, because unless the economy takes a turn for the better, I don't think owning a house is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't really want to. It's weird. I don't really want to own a house. I like the idea of renting. Like I want to have a house. Like I don't want to rent an apartment, but I like renting because I can call someone, tell them that something's broken, go leave for a while, come back, and it's fixed. I don't have to fix it myself. Or if I could fix it, I can be like, hey, it's broken. I'm going to fix it myself.
Yeah. Don't have to tell the landlord or anything?
Yeah, it is. Like, it's perfect. Yeah. So, realistically, probably be renting, and then hopefully be retired and probably at that point have a decent career going with YouTube.
Okay. Nice. We are very far down the list. It is currently 1:37. Just wanted to let you know. So these are the big questions that I have next.
Alrighty.
I already asked you one of them. And the next one is, let's say you have an hour to speak with God, whoever or whatever that may be. What are you bringing up with them? And I also want to mention I stole this from our friend Jack.
That's a real Jack question right there.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. Personally, I maybe just ask him why. It's like, why does he essentially turn a blind eye to like what's happening with his creations? Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna be like, oh, why do you let racism and why do you let genocide? But I'm curious. I've always been curious about like the genuine why of people, mm-hmm. especially like killers. Like, why? Genuinely why? Not why are you killing, but like, why are you? Mm-hmm. So, if anything, I'll probably ask him that, or like ask him what compelled him to make me the way he did, mm. or to make someone else the way they are, like how he determines how to make someone. Mm.
Okay,
definitely those.
That's really interesting. Do you know much about like the Book of Job?
No, I do not.
It's very interesting. It's like there's this man in the Bible who, like, his children die, like his house is like
oh yeah, and then like, he's overcome with like plague, and it's essentially like, it's because the devil mm-hmm. Told God that like, if you cursed this man, he won't praise you anymore, and God essentially said, okay, let's find out.
Yeah.
So he put a plague on him, burned his house, killed his children, and Job still prayed and mm-hmm. proved the point that yes, even through hardships, he still prayed to God.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's gonna be really funny. The only reason I know about it is the episode of South Park mm-hmm. where Kyle is stuck in the hospital. Meanwhile, Cartman gets his own amusement park, and Kyle's like, "There is no God because what God would let this happen to me?" Versus Cartman. I honestly am in the same boat. Mm-hmm. I think if you have to curse someone to prove a point, definitely lose some brownie points.
Yeah.
But
put it lightly.
It's like you definitely lose some brownie points. But I just be very indifferent, essentially. Mm-hmm. It's like, why would God have to prove... First of all, why would God have to prove a point to the devil? Mm-hmm. I feel like with the hierarchy that is religion, I don't think that would be... That's like high school level beef.
Yeah.
Right there. That's how I see it, essentially. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm not religious. Mm-hmm. I am agnostic, so mm-hmm. like, could be a God, couldn't be a God. Mm-hmm. Who knows who cares, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Let's say you are given a year from today to live. What are you doing?
I'm not changing a thing, honestly.
You're very content?
I'm very content, yes.
Okay.
Obviously, it'll suck not being able to do some things that I wanted to do, mm-hmm. but I am very content with my life. Okay. I'll understand.
That's cool. And what experiences from your life do you think have really contributed to your beliefs? You talked about, being isolated a little bit. So what else has contributed to your beliefs?
I want to say that's a good question. I'm trying to think because, like, there's the fact that my dad was like very in and out of my life, but it was because of me. It was like, he lives in Ohio. He would visit his family down in Texas or over in mm-hmm. Vegas and wherever else we live. But I got sad for some reason. I can't remember why. I was like super young. So I was like, I want my dad. But I could only see him 2 days every other week. Mm-hmm. Like I got a weekend every other week. So 4 days a month. And then he was like, if you really want me to stay, I will, but is this what you really want? And I was like, man, I don't think it is. I think that experience definitely helped me finalize my relationship with my parents. It's like, I'll definitely be with my mom, but I know my dad does care about me.
Okay. And let's say you could design like the perfect afterlife. You can literally anything's possible at this point. You're not bound by physics.
Right.
What would that look like to you?
I would say like lucid dreaming. Cause like, I think of, I don't know who said this, honestly. I don't know if it's a phrase or if it's just something some random person said. But I saw somewhere that sleep is the cousin of death, which I think that's really good because, like, it's true. It's like they're both very, the closest we ever get to death is just sleeping from a scientific point. So the perfect afterlife, in my idea, is just like lucid dreaming, being able to control what you want. If you want it to be like to relive your memories, like the whole, when you die, your brain is active for 7 minutes and it goes through all your memories, like that whole thing. If that's what you want your afterlife to be, you can have it like that. Or if you want it to be a new life, then you could essentially have self-reincarnation. So like if you want to like relive, if you want to live a new life, or say you want to be a superhero or something like that, or a supervillain, just like essentially be able to do whatever you want and live that out for the rest of time.
Okay. And I guess just wrapping up here, who even are you? That's the title of this podcast.
I'm a loser, but I'm content with that. Like, by definition, at least. I'm not saying, like, oh, I'm nerdy loser, but, like, by the definition of it, I am. Not a whole lot of friends, stay inside a lot, not like, have the nerdy hobbies, whatever. So, like, by definition, I'm a loser, but I'm not a loser, but not a loser. That's how I look at myself, and I'm okay with that.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say?
Thank you for having me. This is very fun. This was awesome.
All right, thank you guys for being here with Damian Swiney. I hope you had fun watching this podcast, and stay tuned because I have some more people lined up, and I have some other videos on this YouTube channel that I have planned out. And if you're listening to this elsewhere, then stay tuned for more episodes. Thanks. All right, so thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Once again, I apologize for the terrible audio on my end. I'll make sure that it doesn't happen again, to say the least. And I also wanted to take this moment, once again, to plug my Ko-fi page. Any tips are greatly appreciated, no matter how small they are. So stay tuned for more episodes of this podcast, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a bunch of fun projects planned there, so make sure you come back later. Thanks.